From Farmers Branch City Hall, hello everyone and welcome to Council Countdown, where if you give us just a few minutes, we'll bring you a rundown of everything you need to know for the next City Council meeting agenda. I'm Tom Bryson with this Council Countdown for the upcoming City Council meeting of Tuesday, April 5th, 2016. First up, after ceremonial items and a report on study session, members of the Council will consider items placed on the consent portion of the agenda. Now, as you know, consent items are items to be considered with action taken that may not need individual explanation or discussion during the meeting. There are 5 items on the April 5th consent agenda. Agenda item G1 is to consider approval of the minutes for the regular City Council meeting held on March 15th and the City Council work session held on March 22nd. Item G2 is to consider approving Resolution number 2016-033, authorizing the City Manager to approve a professional services agreement with Pyro Brand Development LLC for marketing services. One of the goals in the city's strategic plan is to enhance the city's internal and external communication efforts. In order to accomplish this goal, staff is recommending an overall larger marketing effort that includes the promotion of several key areas, which include tourism, special events, resident communications, as well as residential relocation and the demolition rebuild program. Now, to execute this larger marketing effort at its highest level, staff developed and solicited a request for proposal, or RFP, from professional marketing agencies. While the results of the initial RFP were not satisfactory, staff continued to look for the right agency. At the March 1st City Council meeting, study session that is, staff presented future marketing plans for the city, including the recommendation to enter into a professional services agreement with the Pyro agency. Staff received consensus from the council to move forward as recommended. Now, under this agreement, the city will engage in marketing services with the Pyro agency to complete tasks including to conduct and report on a marketing and branding audit, brand and messaging reposition or evolution, updating messaging and positioning of current logos, global marketing plan across all key functions, specifically taking into account each key area and their needs. This should include where, when, and what to advertise, implementation schedule for each of these key areas, and an easy-to-follow roadmap for staff to follow, provide creative and production services for advertising and tourism visitors guides, creation of a new website to replace visitfarmersbranch.com and lovethebranch.com, and a report monthly on goals, metrics, and results. The proposed agreement will run through the remainder of the fiscal year. The current marketing budget contains $150,000 for marketing services. With the inclusion of tourism in this larger marketing plan, an additional $20,000 will be used from the tourism marketing budget to cover the total cost of the agreement at $170,000. City Administration recommends approving Resolution number 2016-033. Agenda item G3 is to consider approving Resolution number 2016-037, establishing a sustainability committee. During the March 8th City Council work session, Council directed staff to bring forth a resolution establishing a Citizen Sustainability Committee through which citywide sustainability initiatives could be brought to the City Council for consideration. This committee will research and make recommendations to the City Council on potential sustainability initiatives to be adopted by the city. The Sustainability Committee will consist of 9 members. The committee members will serve staggered 3-year terms. Potential members will follow the committee application process established by Ordinance number 3113. Committee recruitment will commence after the City Council approves the formation of the committee. As proposed in the resolution, the Sustainability Committee will have the authority to select its own permanent chairperson, vice chairperson, to determine its own meeting schedule, and to establish subcommittees as needed to complete its work. Any written reports of the committee will be required to be submitted to Council as deemed appropriate by the committee and the City Council. All meetings of the Sustainability Committee or related subcommittees will be subject to the Texas Open Meetings Act. City Administration recommends approving Resolution number 2016-037. Agenda item G4 is to consider approving Resolution number 2016-039, establishing the dates and times for City Council regular meetings and study sessions, and repealing Resolution number 2014-106. At the March 29th City Council meeting, Council expressed a desire to change the start time of the study session meetings from 4 p.m. to 3 p.m. There will be no change to the regular start time of the City Council meetings, which will continue to commence at 6 p.m. City Administration recommends approving Resolution number 2016-039 And agenda item G5 is to consider adopting ordinance number 3364, amending the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 30, Article 3, Alarm Systems, to provide for regulations governing alarm systems and amending Appendix A, Fee Schedule, updating the fees related to alarm systems. Police responding to false alarms is a huge problem. False alarms tax police resources, cause response times to increase because police are unavailable for calls, and take police away from proactive policing or self-initiated activities. Nationwide, approximately 98% of the time police are dispatched on an alarm call, it is false, according to the Partnership for Priority Verified Alarm Response. In Farmers Branch, the experience is even worse. In 2015, the police department responded to 3,059 alarms, of which 8 were valid. That is 0.26% of the total. The current alarm ordinance for the city of Farmers Branch is outdated. The goal of the revised ordinance is first and foremost to reduce the number of false alarm calls. This would help free up police officers for proactive activities and help keep the response times down. Second, since data indicates that 71% of false alarm calls come from businesses, the revised ordinance mitigates the cost of responding to business alarms by increasing commercial alarm fees from $30 to $100. Residential alarm fees will remain the same. Third, the revised ordinance increases the fees for repeated false alarms to the same location, hopefully providing an incentive for the resident or business to reduce false alarms. Finally, the revised ordinance provides for a modified form of verified response to business alarms that have been revoked due to non-payment of false alarm fees or revoked for too many false alarms. Verified response means that police would not respond to the location of a business alarm where a permit has been revoked unless there is independent verification that a crime has occurred or is occurring. Other notable changes to the current ordinance include adding a master apartment complex fee of $100 for apartments providing alarm systems within individual units, changing service charges for repeated false alarm notifications documented in a 12-month period to be false alarm fee in excess of 3 but fewer than 6 would be $50. False alarms in excess of 5 but fewer than 8 would be $75. False alarms of 8 or more would be $100 as compared to the current $50 fee for each false alarm over 5 in a 12-month period. Adding a requirement for alarm companies to notify the city within 30 days of installation or activation of alarm systems is another provision. Increasing maximum fine amounts for violations of the ordinance from $200 to $500, providing an exemption from fees for government and school districts, and allowing for the revocation of an alarm permit after 8 or more false alarms in a 12-month period. City Administration recommends approving ordinance number 3364. That was it for the consent agenda. Here's the rest of the items coming up before the council at their regular session this upcoming meeting. Agenda item H1 is to conduct a public hearing approving a specific use permit for a commercial indoor amusement facility located at 4885 Alpha Road, Suite 275. Item I1 is to consider approving resolution number 2016-035, authorizing the city manager to execute a residential demolition rebuild program incentive agreement for the owner of the property located at 3124 Brook Hollow Drive. And item I2, coincidentally, is to consider approving resolution number 2016-036, authorizing the execution of a demolition rebuild incentive program agreement for the owner of the property located at 14511 Tanglewood Drive. The council may recess into closed session, but will then reconvene into regular session to take any action necessary. And that will do it for the April 5th agenda. Every regular meeting of the Farmers Branch City Council can be seen live here on FBTV. That is Time Warner Cable Channel 16 in Farmers Branch, AT&T U-verse Channel 99 throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, or online at www.farmersbranchtx.gov. This City Council information program will be made available simultaneous to agenda posting on the Friday before each regular City Council meeting and will air prior to the live meeting as well as before all council meeting replays here on FBTV. That replay schedule is at 6 p.m. 7 days a week. In the meantime, the April 5th meeting of the City Council starts at 6 p.m. Tuesday evening here at Farmers Branch City Hall. We certainly hope to see you here. Until then, for everyone here in the studio, I'm Tom Bryson. You are watching Council Countdown on FBTV. We'll see you next time.